Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Digital Nomad Ventures. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the process of buying property in Thailand. So I've already got an article about this pulled up on thaiembassy.com, which is usually a very reputable source, and also a few other links on Siam Legal as well with more information. So before we start the video, I just want to preface it by saying that obviously I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an attorney, and I'm just providing this information for free on YouTube. So if you want more details and you want to go about this the proper way, then I recommend contacting a lawyer. I know quite a few of them here in Koh Samui. So if you have any questions at all, just drop a comment down below, and I'd be happy to answer them to the best of my knowledge. But in this video, I'm just going to be going through like what you need to know if you're looking to buy property in Thailand, right? So I'm starting to get into more and more real estate projects over here. I just passed my agent training, and we learned about a lot of this stuff throughout the course. And then I just got the idea, why not make a video about it to teach other people how to do this, because it can be quite complicated. It's not nearly as easy as it would be back in the US, obviously, where you have citizenship. You don't really have a lot of rights over here in Thailand. A foreigner cannot own land. They can only own the structure on top of the land. There are some ways to get around that, depending on, I believe, the size of the land. Again, you'd have to contact a lawyer about that. Obviously, if you have a Thai partner, she or he can purchase the land, but then again, it's going to be under his or her name. There's also some ways to set up a company to do this as well. But essentially, that's the first thing they're talking about in this article. Are foreigners allowed to own land in Thailand? And the answer is foreigners are not allowed to directly purchase land. Simply put, Thai laws prohibit foreigners from owning land in their own name, although there is an exception, but it is yet to be seen in practice. So it's looking like they may offer some loopholes to get around this law, but yeah, it's currently not possible. So the next step you need to do is buying real estate. To learn how to buy real estate, so you need to understand the different types of Thai title deeds in order to determine the extent of the owner's rights over the land you are interested in. That's, again, for owning land. But if you want to buy a villa, a hotel, maybe an apartment, condo in Thailand, then there's ways to go about that as well. One of them is you have to set up a Thai limited company, and then you buy the property under that company. So also keep in mind that I have not purchased any property over here in Thailand yet. So the extent of my knowledge is fairly limited, but reading through this article, pretty much everything you need to know is here. So let's say, again, this is about buying land in Thailand. Thailand real estate has taken off in the past decade or so, with more and more foreigners wishing to live in Thailand, making Thailand their second home. Many wish to own land here, but before taking this step, it is registered lawyers in Thailand again, and here are some contacts for you. And once you've decided which land you're going to purchase, always consult a lawyer before signing the documents. You can set up a Thai limited company with the DBD, the Department of Business Development here in Thailand, and you also have to have most likely a work permit. If you're going to do more than one house, you need to have a Thai work permit, which is also a process that you would just hire a lawyer for, because it's too much work to do on your own, and most of the documents are in Thai, so you're not going to understand everything, and it's better just to pay them the one-time fee. They can take care of everything for you. Also, if you are setting up a Thai limited company, you need to give up majority share of the company to Thai people. So that's 51%. You retain the 49%. And oftentimes the Thai employees don't really have any stake in the company. They're just kind of like directors, and they can't really make many decisions about the company moving forward. You basically just pay them their social security every month, and they're happy, right? And there's a lot of reasons why Thailand does it this way. which I'm not going to go into in great detail in this video. You can Google it if you want to learn more. And then there's another step, leasehold agreements. So buying Thai real estate under a leasehold interest, very popular and preferred way for foreigners to acquire property in Thailand. Partly because it's simple and straightforward. Foreigners can obtain full interest on a lease in Thailand throughout the specified lease term. Typically 30 years is like the minimum. So you would have to actually lease the property for that amount of time, if I understand it correctly. Oh, the maximum. So maximum lease term is 30 years. I think the minimum is about 3 years roughly. And then you can transfer the leasehold interest or even sell it as you would if you were any other freehold. This is often the preferred way of purchasing a property through a company where you have several shareholders who may have interests that are different from yours. And a lot of times, if you're buying a property, like I have some retired friends here in Samui, Koh Samui, where I live, and one of them, he recently bought a house for about 10 million baht. That's roughly 300,000 US dollars. And it basically just bought the company out from under the previous owner, and ownership the company to him, and now it's in his name. So that's basically the process that you have to follow when you're buying property over here. Again, it's not nearly as easy as it would be in your home country, but at the same time, the costs are much lower. I think you pay a lot less taxes, although I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, the property that you can find over here for the price is second to none, right? So that's one of the reasons it's very popular for foreigners. And you also have another option, so that is marrying a Thai. So my girlfriend is Thai. If I wanted to buy land in Thailand, and if I'm married to a Thai person, then she can essentially take care of that, right? As the non-Thai spouse, you need to state that you have no rights over the land, effectively waiving your properties. So she would own the land, not me. And if we were to, dissolve our marriage, then she would have, exclusive rights to that land, which is to be expected. The property, though purchased by you, cannot be in your name, but will have to be in the Thai spouse's name. So let's say I buy the land, it's, 8 million baht. I pay for the land, and then it's under my girlfriend's name, or my wife's name, which seems a little risky. Again, foreigners don't really have many rights in Thailand, which is one of the reasons a lot of people don't want to invest in property over here, because it can easily be taken away, right? So it is a little bit risky, but if you're willing to take the risk to live in a beautiful paradise like Koh Samui or Phuket, or take your pick of places around Thailand, maybe Chiang Mai, then that's the risk you have to be willing to take, right? So once we understand that, this is more so about buying land, which isn't what we really want to know. We're more so interested in buying property, like a villa, a house, a condo, an apartment. So if you're a foreigner and you want to buy property in Thailand, whether a villa or a condo, but not certain of how this is done, here you'll find the basic breakdown. So they're basically going through everything you need to know. I haven't read this article yet, so I'm kind of just figuring it out as I go along. But since you'll be looking for property in a foreign country, you need expert local assistance. The real estate agent, so obviously you should work with a real estate agent to make the best decisions on your behalf. They know how to communicate in Thai, and they're familiar with the geographical area. The agent will save you valuable time in selecting and showing you the property in your price range that meets your needs. And for this particular case, I recommend Remax. They have offices all over the world, and it's a global real estate company. They're trusted real estate agents. And yeah, I recommend going with Remax if you get the chance. Purchasing directly from the developer isn't going to save you money as compared to buying property in Thailand from a property agent. A lot of people think that they can just do everything themselves, but actually working with an agent saves you a lot of time, and they'll also be able to negotiate on the price for you as well, which definitely comes in handy. You'll need to do a title search, comprehensive examination of a title deed recorded at the land office should be done, and you need to verify that the seller has a clear and legal title to a contractual agreement. And I guess this is how you can do the title search. Then you need to make a deposit. We'll talk more about title deeds in a little bit. It's fairly complicated, but relatively easy to understand. Then you need to make a deposit. When you feel satisfied with the property, you will be asked to make a deposit to show your good faith to continue the process. So obviously this varies depending on the price of the property that you're purchasing. But in return, the seller will reserve the property for you and start the process by drafting the contracts for purchase, unless you specifically write a get out clause, blah, 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 right? So you need to pay that deposit. It's very important. And then property contract. The seller will have the property contract prepared for you. Since the seller will write the contract, it is highly recommended that you have a property lawyer. Again, they're just talking about hiring a lawyer. And that's pretty much it. That's minimum what you know. And you can also watch this video by Jet Gunther and just talking about Thai lawyers. This is a question about, can foreigners buy a condominium in Thailand? What are the taxes associated with renting costs owning a condominium? Can foreigners buy land, which we've already discussed? If the foreigner wishes to acquire land and build a house, she should obtain a long-term lease on the land for a period not exceeding 30 years each term. And the foreigner should apply for a construction permit to build the house in their own name. This way, the foreigner owns the house and has a secured long-term lease on the land. The lease can be written with the option to reassign to another person if you sell, blah, 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 blah. And here's another important question. Am I allowed to build and own any structure on land? Legally, any building is considered as being part of the land over which such building is constructed. However, a building may be considered as a separate part when it is a tenant of the land who builds a building under a lease agreement. Therefore, a foreigner may own any building on his rented land in Thailand. So again, you can own the structure on top of the land, but you can't technically own the land. And keep in mind that Thailand is ruled by a monarch. The king of Thailand presides over the kingdom of Thailand, right? So that may have something to do with it, as well as issues that they've dealt with in the past, where neighboring countries such as Myanmar attacked Thailand, and they lost a large percentage of their land to Myanmar. So this is sort of a way to safeguard against that happening again. And it actually makes a lot of sense if you consider the fact that, Chinese people could easily start coming into Thailand and just start buying up all the land, which we obviously don't want that to happen. We don't want Thailand owned by another foreign country that has majority share. And that could easily happen if this law was not in place, because there's a lot of wealth in China. And of course, right now, even after the pandemic, the borders are still closed. Most people can't even leave China. But that being said, just to explain why this law exists, I think that has a large part of what to do with it, right? So that's basically what you need to know about buying property in Thailand. Obviously, I'm going to leave a link to these resources in the description below so that you can access these at your own leisure. And I want to discuss, I already have this open, discuss title deeds. So one of the things that you'll need is a chinote. It's called a chinote, which is essentially a title deed, as far as I understand. There's quite a few different documents that you're going to need if you're looking to buy property over here. And the type of title grant, the holder of this document full rights over the land. So there's the freehold title deed. That is the chinote, which I just mentioned, or it's also called a Norsor 4, which I've never heard before. But essentially, the title deed is the best and most credible title deed to hold. This is the chinote. You need to make sure when you're buying property that the seller already has a clean chinote, right? They are, in fact, the owner of the property. And obviously, real estate agent can help you with all of this stuff, right? And then there's another one called a Norsor 3 Gore. It's a land awaiting a full title deed is granted the document Norsor 3 Gore. The land is measured by the land department, therefore it has its exact boundaries. May be transferred. This one's also important. The difference between the title of land title deed and the Norsor 3 Gore is that a land with this has never yet been measured by the land department. So again, these are just things about the land. Know too much about that, but there is another document. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, property taxes we should also discuss. This is something that a lot of people want to know about. Obviously, if you're looking to buy property over here, you want to understand what taxes you're withholding to. This is for a condo, villa, or house. And these are the different taxes that you need to pay when you're buying a property, right? So first you need to pay the transfer fee. That's 2% of the registered value of the property. You pay a duty, which is 0.5% of the registered value, only payable if exempt from business tax. You need to also pay a withholding tax, 1% of the appraised value or registered sale value of the property. And then a business tax, which is 3.3% of the appraised value or registered sale value of the property, whichever is higher. So, and it shows here which party normally pays. So transfer fee, the buyer is going to pay that. The stamp duty is usually taken care of by the seller. The withholding tax is taken care of by the seller, and the business tax is taken care of by the seller. So the only, as far as I understand, the only tax that you need to pay is the transfer fee, which is 2% of the purchase value or registered value of the property. So let's say you buy a house for 20 million baht. What is 2% of 20 million? That's like what? 200,000, I think. Let's just check real quick. 0.02. That is, oh no, 40,000. Is that correct? No, sorry. 400,000. 400,000 baht, which is roughly $13,000. So not really much of a tax. And then again, if you want to know about this, property lawyers can give suitable property investment, which is specific to every client. There's also one other document that you need to know about. It's like a yellow, it's basically a proof of who's living in the household. Oh. Okay, Tabby and Bond. Registration. I'll show you what it looks like. This is actually a real estate company in Chiang Mai. Perfect homes. I know the owner of this company, as a matter of fact. And for some reason, the website is low, but I'll show you what this document looks like. It's called a house in Thai, which lists all foreign individuals holding a temporary stay or long stay at a house. And it shows you how to get the Tabian Ban. You just need a few documents: passport, work permit, marriage certificate, if you're married, lease agreement, and blue house book. And that's what it looks like. It's just a little yellow document with the, what is that called? This logo, which you see a lot in Thailand, is sort of like the, I don't know what it is exactly, but I see it on banks. I see it all over the place. So yeah, that's the document that you'll need. It's just a house registration book for foreigners living in Thailand, which is pretty cool, actually. And here's some more information about Thai limited company registration, which I'm not going to go into too much detail about, but essentially it's a private Thai limited company. It's the most popular form of business structure in Thailand. It's owned by a minimum of 3 shareholders. Liability, each of the shareholders is limited to the per value of their shares. And as a foreigner, you have authority to Thai individuals or shares, and that's pretty much all you need to know about that. And if you have any questions, below, I'll do my best to answer them. And obviously, yes, I'll also include these resources in the description below as well, so you can have easy access to them. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has been helpful for you, and just look forward to seeing you sometime in Thailand. Take care.